Thailand is better than the Philippines, right? Thailand is better than the Philippines, right? And before we get started, some people gonna be like, "Oh man, this girl got her body done." Okay, so do a lot of the women in the Dominican Republic and Colombia and Brazil and the top three countries that quote unquote passport bros go to. A lot of those women got their body done. Women in America got their body done. So it's not uncommon, as it might have been 15 years ago, to have women that have their body done. So before we get into it, right? Don't come with the oh, she got her body done. Well, if getting a woman's body done makes her look beautiful, why doesn't she get it done? The truth can never be considered disrespect. Let's go through this profile real quick, right? This woman right here, my brothers in Christ, is I feel right, and opinions can be, you could feel one way, I could feel another. I feel like she's attractive, right? From the front, she's cute, right? Everyone knows me. You know, I, I the backside got to be right. You know what I'm saying? And the backside ain't right. But considering the circumstances, right, and the country, right, respectfully, she is one of the most beautiful women in Thailand. This young lady right here is one of the most beautiful women in Thailand, right? That I consider attractive from the front side. The back side needs support, right? But most women in Thailand aren't walking around with BBLs in their butt, right? Most. There's some. I'm going to talk about her in a second. If you are looking for voluptuous women, right? Curvy women, natural or unnatural, whatever the case may be, if you're looking for a voluptuous or curvy woman to be your wife, to be your girlfriend, your fiance, your partner, I just don't suggest the Philippines. I don't think that the Philippines should be on your list if you're looking in Asia. I don't see why the Philippines would be on your list. There's a few guys, you go to their page, you search Philippines and Manila and Cebu and all these cities in the Philippines on YouTube, and guys be, having these thumbnails of the girl sitting down, or the girl in this pose, trying to look like it's bigger than it actually is. Let's be honest. I listen. Unless you were born yesterday, if a girl sits down, it's gonna look ginormous, right? That's not a secret, right? So that's clickbait. Some individual's page I was on yesterday, he had a hell of a thumbnail, right? Beautiful thumbnail. Like, oh man, let me just click on this. Clickbait, right? Any woman that has to sit down and make it look huge, clickbait, right? I have not found a woman in Philippines, right? And I've been on Tinder for like 3 weeks, right? I've been on Tinder for like 3 weeks, right? Maybe more. I have not found a woman in the Philippines that got her beat. I've been on Tinder, I'm on some other apps, right? I have not found a woman in Philippines that got her beat. I have not found a woman in the Philippines that got her beat. I'm gonna be honest with you. Out of all the women that I've swiped with in the Philippines, ain't none of them coming close to her. None of them. None of them. None of them are coming remotely close. If she was walking down the street, people gonna turn their head and look. Let's be honest. If she was walking down the street, people are going to turn their head and look. They're going to look, right? If she was walking down the street, people are going to turn their head and look. And let's be honest, and I've said this and I've said, people have preferences. It's nothing wrong with having preferences. But based on my preferences of liking someone voluptuous and thick and curvy, the Philippines ain't really at the top of my list. Matter of fact, the Philippines isn't on my list. But with that being said, there are attractive women in the Philippines, right? But if you're looking for the more curvy and the voluptuous woman, the Philippines ain't it, bro. The Philippines ain't it, right? And listen, I know a woman that's in Thailand that had some surgery, right? you know, and I consider us friends, right? I consider us acquaintances. I consider us associates, right? I'm not trying to blow out their YouTube or blow out their Instagram or something. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to mess up what I got going on, but I do know that there are some women in Phuket specifically, they got their body done. I'm not talking about just the front, because in Thailand it's not uncommon to see women that got the front done, right? Philippines tender, it's a little uncommon to see women with any cosmetic surgeon. We might get into that a little later. But I know two women in Phuket that got their body done, right? I'm just being honest. I know two women in Phuket that got their body done, right? And one of them, uh, she's on someone else's YouTube, right? You know from looking at her that she had some work done, right? You know from looking at her she had some work done. And this other young lady in Phuket, I'm gonna probably try to get an interview with her in a couple months. Here's the thing: if you give a woman some money, she gonna get on that camera. Let's be honest. She told me she got her body done. She's Thai, and she told me she went to the Dominican Republic and got her body done. She told me, she said, I went to the DR and got my body done. And it's obvious she got her body done. Her waist is this big, right? Her waist is this big, and everything it's it's ginormous, right? But it brings me into the next topic that I've kind of talked about before. Is a lot of women that go and get their body done or you know, they're selling. And I was talking to someone recently, man. This young lady that I know that went to the DR, this Thai lady that I know went to the DR, because she told me. I put her name in Google, and it popped up all of these adult sites. Adult sites in Dubai, adults. Listen, I'm not trying to blow her spot up, right? Because I'm for sure trying to see her, right? I'm trying to spend time with her, right? We've been chatting it up for a couple of months, right? And, you know, we can probably hang out or something, right? But here's what I suggest. If you meet a woman that you're attracted to, do some research. Go through her Instagram, go through her stories, put her name, put her Instagram name in Google. Because a lot of these women, like I said, that have gotten their body done are something. Either videos, right? OF or their body, unfortunately. Right? And, you know, and I've been to hers, right? She got an OF, of course, right? I've been to it. It ain't all that, right? It ain't all that, you know. It's nothing that I would keep a subscription from. But you have to know, right? You have to know that when you're thinking about going to Asian countries, right? And if you're looking for a voluptuous woman, like I am looking for a voluptuous woman, count the Philippines out. Right? I can go to some Filipinos pages right now. I'm not trying to disrespect them, right? They cool. We can hang out, right? We can have a good time. But are we going to get married? No. Are we going to date? No. Are we going to be in a relationship? No. But if you're looking for a voluptuous, curvy Asian woman, I highly suggest you check out Thailand. Highly suggest you check out Thailand. It's not even a question, Thailand. You know, I've heard things about Japan. People say go to Japan. Uh, Here's my thing, and this is my rule. This is my golden rule. I'm not going anywhere where there's a bunch of military bases. I'm not going anywhere where there's a bunch of military bases. Military bases mean there's 50,000 guys there competing with the same woman as you. I don't suggest men go to places where there are military bases. Your odds are stacked against you. I suggest men go places where your chances are higher. People say, oh man, they've seen people that look like me in Thailand. Of course. But if we're being honest, in any city, Phuket, Bangkok, Pattaya, Chiang Mai, in any city in Thailand, I guarantee you this. I guarantee you this. There's more clubs that don't cater to people that look like me than there are clubs that cater to people that look like me. Let me repeat that again. There are more clubs that don't cater to people that look like me than there are clubs that cater to people that look like me. And we're going to talk about that in another video. So I said that to say that there's a small percentile of Thai women that are genuinely interested in people that look like me. and make look like you. There's a small percentile. So are your odds good or are your odds bad? Women that, let's say women that want a chocolate man, right? So to speak, quote unquote. They're not going to the rock and roll bars looking for chocolate men. They're not going to the country bars looking for chocolate men. They're not going to the EDM bar looking for chocolate. They're going to the one or two places that play rap, R&B, Afro beats, stuff along those lines. Quote unquote, one or two places, maybe three in Patty, maybe four, right? But four out of, let's say you got four places where they play rap, R&B, and Afro beats. And I'm not talking about like once or twice a night, like through the whole night. Let's say you got four places that play rap, R&B, and Afro beats throughout the whole night in Patty. Matter of fact, let's say five. Okay, you got five places. All right, that's 5 out of 300. You know how many clubs are on Walking Street? Not just Walking Street, all those side streets, they're clubs, they're bars. No one can name more than 5 places. I'm not talking some hole in the wall bar that someone got that plays R&B and Burna Boy and no hole in the wall bar, but 5 legit places that get customers, right? Not no hole in the wall bar. 5 legit places that get clientele. 5 legit places that get pat. It's no one can name more than 5, and I can't name 5. I'm probably at 3 or 4. We are at an advantage in Thailand. We are at an advantage in Thailand because most women aren't really into us, if we're being honest. But that's another story. I don't know. I'm not trying to get into, trying to talk bad about a country, right? But I don't see voluptuous, curvy women like this in the Philippines. I just don't see it. You know what I'm saying? I just don't see it. I don't see it. And that's my preference. Like I don't see it. And I'm not really trying to just be like, oh man, let me just go pay 5 to 10 to 15, 20,000 to get her body done for her to leave me. Right. Of course not. But I don't see it. I don't see it. So, like I said, some people have suggested Japan. I don't suggest Japan because it's a military base there. But Thailand for sure is a country that you should keep your eye on if you're considering finding someone voluptuous, curvy, right? Patty has a bad name, right? But there's some there, but a lot of them I want to get into a relationship with. None of them I will get into a relationship with. Bangkok has some, right? Yeah. Phuket has some for sure, right? But I would definitely have Phuket high on my list, right? Because Phuket don't have the same walking street, soy six type of activities that you're gonna find in Thailand. I'm just being honest. Like in Thailand, you can, find something, quote unquote, that you're looking for, quote unquote, relatively easy, right? In Phuket, you're gonna have to know where you're going, right? So I'm never gonna put Phuket high on my list for a relationship. Or if you're just looking to have a good time, quote unquote, Pattaya for sure is gonna be high on the list. But yeah, man, Thailand for sure is the women there, man. Like I said, I can post pictures and Instagrams. I might do that later in a couple months. But the women in Thailand are for sure cooking Filipino women. I'm talking about 500 degrees. I'm talking about Crisco grease coming out of the pan. It's so hot. I'm going to go to Philippines, like I've said, and I will continue to say I already got the tickets, right? But I kind of know going to the Philippines that I'm not going to leave with a girlfriend. But who knows?